What up? Hope y'all doing well. Today I want to talk about taking risks. I think that's one of the most important things that you should be able to do and that you should do on the way to being successful. But at the same time, I think it's something that is so feared to today in today's time because it's scary and you never know what's going to happen. And let's be honest, most people think worst case scenario, right? For all the anxiety and all the social media and everything. So, in order to take a risk successfully and not be scared, you can't worry about what people think. You can't worry about failure. You can't think worst case scenario because, let's be honest, if you think worst case scenario, that gives you the least possible chance that you will achieve it. But if you think best case scenario, that gives you the best possible chance that you'll be able to achieve it, right? So why not think best case scenario? And the thing is, a lot of people is in the habit of thinking worst case scenario because, let's be honest, it's easier to think worst case scenario, right? Especially if you never succeeded at nothing in your life or succeeded at something big in your life. It's way easier to think worst case scenario. And yeah, because it's easier to think that. It's harder to think best case scenario. What if I do get hired? What if I do get that girl? What if I do start the business and I'm successful in it? That's hard to think because I just don't know. I know from experience though that it's easier to think worst case scenario because that was me for a long time, right? But yeah, man, you got to take a risk. And once you take that first risk and you get to that other side and you realize it's not that scary, that sets you up to take another risk later on and not be scared because, you took that first risk and you found out. So now it sets you up to take that second risk. And if you really think about it, it should be normal taking risks because, like, life is risky. Like, you pull out, you're trying to go somewhere from the house, you're leaving the house, you're going in a car, it's risky. You can get into a car crash. It's not just risky for you, it's risky for everybody you know. Life is risky. And I think once you start to think about the fact that it's not going to matter, like, let's say you fail, right? Let's say you take a risk today and then a month in you let it go because it wasn't going right and you fail and everybody sees. Even a week later, people aren't going to remember. They're not going to be thinking about you like, oh yeah, he failed on this. Like, they have to wake up and go to work. Like, they got their own life going on. They're not worried about your failures. So why be scared? Like, in 5 years, who's going to be thinking about, oh yeah, you tried to be a online fitness coach, or he tried to be a lawyer and it didn't work, or he tried to be a author, he tried to be an artist. Nobody's going to be thinking about it because people got short attention spans nowadays anyway. So, and then once you start to think about the fact that you have one life, you got one life, you can't do this over. You don't want to get to the end thinking like, man, I should have did this, because it's too late. And now you become old, you become bitter. Well, you already old, but you become bitter and resentful, and you try to tear down people who did what you could have. You had the chance, but you was just too scared. And I bet you asked them older people if they could go back, would they be scared? They would say no, because it doesn't matter. There's so many people in the world. People think the world revolve around them, when that person that you think is paying attention to you thinks the world revolves around them too. Like, people aren't paying that much attention to you as you think they are. And it's just a simple fact of, you got one life. Live like you got one life. Like, I'm not scared of taking risks because I know if I don't take the risk, when I get to the end, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be resentful. I'm just gonna be bitter and old, and I'm not gonna be fulfilled. So yeah, man, just take a risk and see how it plays out. Like, I took multiple risks, a lot of them, and they didn't really do what I thought they would have. You know, like, it's cool though. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that first risk set me up to take that second risk, that third risk, that fourth risk, that fifth risk. And now whenever something comes up that would have gave me that feeling of being scared, and I don't want to do it because of what people might think, now whenever that comes up, I instantly kind of do it. It's like second nature. Like, if I know I want to do something and I know it's risky, my second nature is to just, okay, well, you got one life. Let's try it out. You know, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. I'd rather see what happens or try to do it and give it my all rather than not trying at all, wondering if I just did this, what would have happened. Maybe I could have been successful. Maybe I would have been a millionaire. Maybe I would have been famous. I don't want to think that. Like I said, man, it won't matter. You know, like, you fail, man, it won't matter. Like, people were successful way before our time, and we don't even know them. They were massively successful and famous, and we don't even know them or care to know them. So anything you do doesn't matter, right? So it's like, do it for you. Do what you want to do and do it for you, because if you fail, it won't matter. And if you succeed, it won't matter, in a sense, you know? Some people put in work and do things in this lifetime that last for a long time. Like Michael Jackson he's gonna be around for a long time, but in reality, like, does it matter? Because he's not even here to enjoy it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't matter. It's like, you start thinking deep about it a little bit. Like, a lot of things don't even matter. You just gotta. What do you want out your life? What do you want out your life? Try it. Go for it. Get over that hurdle, because sometimes thinking about pursuing the thing can stop you, and you get caught up in thinking about how bad you would fail rather than doing it. And that thinking about how you might fail would take you longer than it takes to actually do the thing. Like, you would be thinking for months, 2-3 months on, dang, I want to do this, but I don't know. And it only would have took you a month and a half to do it. You know, so you just delayed the process, and all you had to do was get off your ass and try it. You know, so I don't know, man. I wish I could help people and put that risk or taking risk factor or taking risk trait in them. The risk of taking the trait of taking a risk. I wish I can put that in them, but me, I know for a fact it's not going to be easy, just from what I've had to deal with while taking risks. Like, it's scary. It's very scary. It's uncertain, right? That's why I failed so many times. But to be able to learn, you have to be able to fail, right? Because you don't learn nothing from succeeding. So you got to be able to take a risk and fail and learn. Okay, maybe next time I do something, let's do this. You fail that one, you learn from that one. You know, and then that's how you get better, by failing. And a lot of people don't want to fail. A lot of people scared to take risks. And I definitely understand them. I was there. I know. I swear I was there. Like, but now it's just, and whatever you do over and over and over, it becomes a habit. Like, so if you are scared to take a risk every time something that you might want to do, or you've seen that you would like to do, and you start to back off from that, and you start to get scared, that becomes a habit. So every time something comes, that becomes a habit, right? But if something comes up that you might want to do, and then you know it's a scare factor in there where you might not want to do it, your brain says no, but you really do want to do it, and you do that, and then something else comes up and you do that, even if you failing, but you just keep doing it, that becomes a habit. So now whenever you see something that you might want to do, instantaneously your mind is like, okay, let's try it, let's try it, let's try it. It's just second nature now. Like whatever you repeat, positive or negative, it becomes a habit. And whatever you think, positive or negative, you start to believe. But that's a whole nother conversation. We're talking about risks. But yeah, man, get out there and take that risk, man, because you never know. You never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. It's always a possibility for the ones that take a risk, but for the ones who never take a risk, it's certain that you won't ever amount to nothing higher. You're always going to be the same you that's right now. You're always going to be, if you're miserable and you don't want to take a risk, you're always going to be miserable. If you have a decent amount of money but you never want to take a risk, you're always going to have a decent amount of money. It's up to you. But I would say take the risk just because, just test it out. Just test it out. You can take a risk however you want, but I would say take a risk, because it's so hard for people to take a risk. Just take a risk to see what's on the other side of the risk. Is it as bad as you thought it was? Take a risk for that reason first. And then start finding out what you want to do in life. Take a risk trying to do that. And what you think you want to do might not be what you were meant to do. So you're going to try some things and you'll be like, okay. Like in the beginning, you're going to be like, okay, this is for me. I feel like I can see myself doing this. And then you'll get into it and then you'll realize, yeah, this is not it. You're not getting fulfilled. You're not getting the fulfillment you need. So you stop doing that. But keep trying until it's absolute, like, yeah, I can't do this. I don't see myself doing it. I don't like it as much as I thought I would. Keep doing it until then. But then do something else. And then do something else. And then do something else. And you're going to find something that clicks like, I can see myself doing that. I get fulfillment from this. But you would never, ever get there if you can't take risks. Or if you're scared to take a risk. Sorry. I'm talking from experience. I was scared to take a risk, and I never knew. I knew I had potential, right? But I didn't know where to put it because I was scared of taking risks. So I had all this potential locked up, and then whenever something came for me to present that potential, I would chicken out. I would be scared, and that's a lot of people. A lot of people are in that situation, and like I said, I don't blame them. But if not now, when? When are you going to change that? You might as well start now. What better do you have to do? Might as well start now.